Over the last 25 years, I've had the privilege of interviewing and highlighting some truly interesting people. Everyone who is anyone, both the famous and the infamous, from presidents and their first ladies to kings and queens, movie stars and pop stars, captains of industry, heads of state, sports personalities, innovative entrepreneurs, and some pretty fascinating everyday people. Today, I'm proud to introduce you to Dr. Manjula Raguthu, whose functional medical practice's goal is to discover the root cause of illnesses and to cure them. I'm so glad to meet you, Dr. Raguthu.
Thank you, Jones.
Wonderful. So, Doctor, I'd love to start off with your background. Can you tell me a little bit about your early experiences and the aspects of your own life that led you to pursue a career in medicine?
I was born in India. I grew up in a family of doctors. My parents, my grandparents on both sides, my sisters, brothers, everybody was a doctor. So back in the days in India, either you become a doctor or an engineer. But not just that, I did have a passion for taking care of people early on because I used to go help my dad at the hospital to sometimes just go talk to the people, and then every week we would be serving food to 100 to 1,000 people, just to it's the charity work we were doing. So from that time on, I always had a passion for people and to serve. And being in a family of doctors, it developed an interest to go into medicine. So my maternal grandfather had worked as a physician with Queen Victoria. And then we would always see the people that would come to meet him. It would always enlighten me to see how many people we could make a difference in life to serve. And that, I think, was the initial thought that I had, yeah, I should become a doctor.
So that our viewers fully understand the level of your education, what kind of education did you pursue in order to realize that goal?
So there you go to high school, and right after high school, you go to medical school. And it was a very competitive exam for the MCAT, which it's out of 50,000 people, I got the 141st rank. And you had to be in the top 5% to be able to get into medical school, because at that time the seats were very limited. And even through high school, I had always been in the top 3% in the class. So it wasn't much difficulty that I got into med school.
Now that's very interesting because I didn't hear you say that there was a 4-year college requirement in there before medical school.
No, India, it did not have, even now, it does not have a 4-year college requirement because the medical school, you go right after the 12th. Some of the core courses, like the anatomy and all that, you take during the medical school. I know here it's different, but you go right after med school, and by the time I was 23, I had already finished med school.
What aspects of medicine interested you in particular, and why did you make those choices?
Okay, so back home, I was an OBGYN. Oh. Okay, that was the passion I had for, I still do. And at that time, when I was practicing or training, I would be delivering 25 babies a night on call. That was the fun stuff. That was at one of the biggest hospitals in Southeast Asia.
Oh my word.
And then 1996, I immigrated to New York. I had my first child by then. And then I had to make a choice. Do I want to continue as an OB or be there for the kids? So I had to decide to become a family physician. At that time, I had the option also to pursue OB, which I did during the residency. And after that, during that time, I had my second child and decided it wasn't going to be, because my husband is also a physician. He's a pain management physician. So we had to think only one person had to make the sacrifice to be there with the kids. So it was me. And I trained in New York at St. Vincent's Medical Center. And then after that, I've been in practice in Queens there, while I was also teaching at St. Vincent's. And then after a few years, after about 10, 11 years, we moved to Texas. And in Texas, I have the family practice. I have it in 2 locations. And then in the meantime, my son got sick. In the sense, we discovered that he had sensory neural deafness, and I wasn't able to find any answers why that was happening. So I started pursuing or researching more on alternative treatments because we couldn't find any treatment. And that's what led me to pursue the path of functional medicine. And from there on, I did like a fellowship in functional medicine and looked learned about finding the root cause of disease and how you can reverse it. So basically, I can help you identify what's causing the disease and then try to reverse it without putting you on medication.
Doctor, I'm curious, has your medical research actually moved us city closer to a healthier world?
I think if you believe food is medicine, everything, what we are, how we are, you can correlate to the food you eat, and how the gut is the main source of everything that goes on in your body. If there's a lot of inflammation in the gut, which is called a leaky gut, then it leads to a lot more diseases in the body. So I truly believe food is medicine, and I try to grow my own organic garden in my backyard. That helps me know that I'm truly getting organic food.
Mm-hmm.
When I go out, I still don't know what I'm getting because there's so many chemicals and fertilizers, everything sprayed onto the food we eat,
Mm-hmm.
which do cause a lot of problems. And I think that's where I believe food has to be the medicine.
So, doctor, let's cause a little controversy, you and I. I am a heart disease survivor. I had open heart surgery 10 years ago, very successful, and I am living a healthier life. If you tell me one food that you would want me to get out of my diet, what would it be?
Red meat.
Take red meat out.
Yes.
And tell me what red meat does to the body.
See, red meat right now, let me tell you, the way things are, the animals are fed grain.
Mm-hmm.
And the grain has a lot of fertilizers, and they're fed corn. Corn and coffee seem to be the most with the fertilizers. They're the most sprayed of the average food that we eat. And the grain also has a lot of gluten, and we know for a fact the gluten causes a lot of inflammation. And even now, when we say avoid gluten and dairy, we know dairy because you're getting the grains in there, with the antigens from the gluten are going through the breast milk of the cows, and you get that milk, which causes inflammatory process in your body. So you want to try to avoid that. And if you did have heart disease, have you ever had any genomic testing done?
I don't think I've had genomic testing, but you're about to convince me to get it done, I would think.
I would certainly do it because you're still young. You want to get a genomic testing to see the recurrence. See, once you have heart disease, you know every vessel in your body is affected, including your brain.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to try to preserve your brain function as you get older to prevent dementia. And there are supplements that you can use to reverse the vascular damage that you have.
Doctor, I've been reading a bit about your background, and just your work in functional medicine has already been talked about. Have you actually been recognized for some of that work? If you have, please just tell me a little bit more about the honors.
Yes, so Multiple times I have been recognized as the best family physician. It is by the Consumer Research Council. And then recently I got a Lifetime Achievement Award from Marquis. And I had a couple other accolades, being part of the top docs. And I can't even remember what all I had, because sometimes the recognition is not much that mattered to me. What I do is what matters to me. Yes, they are there in my office, but for people to see. But I think what you do and how you serve is what matters most. I think it's in the mindset. You have to change your mindset to pursue health in a better way. I will say that. So I know, because at least in this country, though we have the most advanced medicine, I think the function of a person, I don't want a person to just come to me, hey, you prescribe me something. And I'm going to tell them, if you want me to prescribe pills, you're coming to the right doctor. And I'm not that person. I want you to make a change in your life to make your life healthier over the long run than just expect to be popping pills.
You're a doctor's doctor, ma'am. Thank you so very much for your time and for your dedication and service to our community. We need more people like you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.